Hello, my Padawans. How's everybody doing? So let's talk about Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley, or they just call it Axel F. Wow. I It's been a while since it was released. It was released on the 3rd of July. I just haven't had a chance to do a review on it. It's on Netflix. Wow. First off, starting off, I think the film is one of the best Netflix movies ever made. I don't think Netflix makes a lot of very good movies. This is an all-star cast. It's an amazing sequel. The script is incredible. The acting is, I mean, this should have been released at the movie theater, but it went straight to video. When I say straight to video, I mean straight to streaming. I don't think it does it justice to be on for people to watch this movie at home. I think it should have been a theater experience, especially because of the special special effects and the sounds and the music and the explosions. It's just a big movie. It's a big Hollywood movie. I love the movie. Now, this is, I review movies a little bit different. I watched it on July 5th because of July 4th, I was doing other stuff. But on July 5th, I watched it drinking my Coors Lights. Okay, so I was kind of watching the movie drunk. And I know, you're not supposed to, but I wanted to have this so much fun. Now, there's some movies that you want to get drunk and watch, and it's like a different total experience when you watch a movie drinking some beers than when you're sober, right? So I said, I'm going to watch it drunk first. And when I say drunk, I probably had about 8 Coors Lights. The first when I watched it that Friday night, oh God, it was so good, man. I was so excited. I was like jumping on the couch, laughing on the floor, rolling around. I was like a little kid. Now, I'm not gonna give you the spoilers here, but let's talk. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the movie. You got the thing is, Eddie Murphy comes back like never before. I mean, he's playing Axel, just like the character from 1984. From the first one. So, just having Eddie Murphy be in the entire movie the entire time, not just like a cameo. Compare it to like the Force Awakens. When Luke shows up at the end. No. Eddie Murphy, he's the main character. He's in the entirety of the film. He had a lot to do with the script, and it shows that he really put all his best. And I love Eddie Murphy. I've always have. I'm glad that he's back as a comedian, because I don't like when actors start doing drama. It's just so depressing when actors want to be dramatic actors. It's just depressing to me. I prefer comedy, and he's right on track. I mean, the way he plays Axel, it connects right to Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2 and even 3. So, and then you got the main cast in the movie back again after what, 30 years, something like that. You have Eddie Murphy, right, as Axel. You got Judge Reinhold. Now, who doesn't like Judge Reinhold? Come on. Yeah, I mean, he looks a little bit weird, like his face is I don't know if he had surgery. He looks a little strange. And then you got John Astin back as the chief, John Taggart, and even Paul Reiser shows up. So there you go. You got the main 4 characters right there. And then you have Kevin Bacon as a bad guy. I really don't buy that. I don't like Kevin Bacon. I don't like Kevin Bacon playing bad guys. It just doesn't work for me. But it's okay. He's I'm not spoiling it for you. I mean, we have the bad cop, good cop. So so Axel Foley isn't. He's in Detroit. I guess 30 years later, he's still a cop. You know. I know. And then he wears the same jacket. He wears the same jacket after 30 years. He's wearing the same jacket. Okay, it probably doesn't make sense, but it's really cool. Okay. Uh, so he's over there in Detroit. He has a daughter now, and his daughter is like a lawyer, and she gets in trouble in Beverly Hills with some people, some bad guys. There's a lot of stereotypes in the movie, which is a throwback to the '80s, right? So this movie is very '80s, very retro, and so then that's why he returns to Beverly Hills, and oh man, the movie is so good. There's a chase at the beginning with a snowplow, and wow, it's just it's the action. It's all real. I didn't think there was any CGI in the movie. I think it's all real. Like the chases are real. The helicopter chase. Uh, of course, the guns are not going to be shooting real bullets, but you know what I mean. I mean, like the car chases are real. There's another chase in the movie that is hilarious when he steals a when a parking ticket cars. The lady that gives out those tickets, those little carts, and he steals one of those, and he's being chased around the city. It's just, dude. And then the music at the beginning, they play the original music, and they play all the other songs that were in the original from '84. Uh, Everybody does great. I mean, Judge Reinhold is amazing. Paul Reiser. And, I like the OGs. I like the original actors, right? Who doesn't? Then there's these new people over here, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt, which I wasn't impressed. He plays like a rookie, I guess a rookie cop or something. And you got Luis Guzman playing like a drug dealer. It's a little complicated. I'm not going to tell you the entire, like I said, I don't want to tell you spoilers. But then, we go to Bronson Pinchot, or Pinchot. Bronson Pinchot as Surge, like the gay guy. He comes back, and it's really funny. He was always, I think, they're making fun of a gay guy in the movie. It's just funny. It's funny as hell. Like the interactions, between them, it just feels real. It feels so real. The chemistry between Eddie Murphy and his daughter is absolutely, like, totally acceptable. I mean, you really think, like, that's his daughter, and John Taggart and Judge Reinhold, their chemistry on screen is like they never stop talking. It's like you can tell these guys are really into this. They're great actors. And then there's other people in the movie, But anyway, let's go back to. I watched it one time, like I said, on July, I think July 5th, and I was kind of drunk. So I said, I'm gonna watch it again, but I'm not gonna drink. And I watched it again, without drinking anything, and it was still very good. It was even better. I'm just happy to see another Beverly Hills Cop movie after so many years. And I heard that Eddie Murphy turned down a lot of scripts, and I'm glad, because you can tell that they put a lot of effort into this movie. And yeah, okay, there's a lot of gun violence in the movie, and I don't like gun violence, but but you're not supposed to take it. It's a comedy, okay? And it had a huge budget. I think the budget was like 150 million. That's a big budget for a straight to TV movie. You know, the director was Mark Malloy, and I think they've been working on this movie for like 5 years, something like that. I just seeing Eddie Murphy, because Eddie Murphy was out of comedy for a long time. He didn't merely make. I remember back in the day he was saying that he didn't want to act anymore, and that he didn't want to do comedy anymore, and he was kind of like down. I think he looked like he was a little depressed. But I know he did that Dolomite movie, and then he did Coming to America. Coming to America wasn't any good. I thought it was really bad. Coming to America 2. I did like Arsenio Hall. But this one, I think this movie, Beverly Hills Cop Axel F., I think this is the return of Eddie Murphy as we know him from the 80s and the 90s. He's back in form. I don't know how he does it, because, the guy's older, Eddie Murphy's like older. I think he's like in his 60s. So he's not going to be like the same person as he was when he was in his 20s. But he looks really good. He doesn't even look like he's 60. And the action is just incredible, man. It's just a fun movie. And the ending was really good. Look, that's all I'm going to say for now, because just go see it. If you have Netflix. If you don't have Netflix, sign up and then watch it, and then just delete Netflix. It's worth it. And, I watched it for free because I have a membership. I've always had a Netflix membership, and I don't even know why. There's nothing really there that I like. I kind of like the Cobra Kai, but I'm over it. Haven't even seen Cobra Kai in a long time. I think they're overdoing it. And this is why I don't want it. I don't want this to happen at Beverly Hills Cop. When they start doing all these movies, they already said they're making another one. It's just too much. I think less is more, when it comes to franchises like this. Look what happened to Star Wars. They made 3 movies that are horrible, and then they keep making all these shows that are terrible. So I think it's a good, if you're going to end the series at Beverly Hills Cop as a whole. I know it was a trilogy, but now with this movie, with the success, everybody's talking about this movie. At least in last week, everybody's doing a review. What I'm saying is, don't do another one. You don't have to. This is a good ending to Beverly Hills Cop. His daughter, he goes back to Detroit, and just leave it like that. Don't ruin it, okay? Because once stuff like this happens, like, once in a lifetime, it's like a glitch. It doesn't. You can't do this very often. There's not a lot of sequels that are better than. Well, I'm not saying it's better than the original, but there's not a lot of sequels that are good. Better than the second or the third. And I would say this one is my second favorite. The original from 1984 would be number 1, and this one would be number 2. And just because it feels like, it's 30 years later. Well, actually 40 years later, if you're going from 84. But man, the action, the acting, and I'm not impressed by films these days. Okay, I haven't been. The last movie that I really loved, what was it? You see, I can't even remember. Netflix doesn't make a lot of good movies. They make horrible shows, horrible movies. I did like the Transformers series that they had, War for Cybertron. I thought that was really well made. I would say that's the only other thing. But look, if you like, again, I don't like Kevin Bacon as a bad guy. The movie follows the formula of the originals. There's at the beginning you gotta have a chase, right? A car chase, kind of like James Bond. And then you gotta have like a little bit in between, like some tension in there in the story. And then you gotta have like the criminals come out and go after Eddie Murphy for a while, and then you have another chase, and then you got another somewhere in between, like some comedy there, and then at the end you got another big chase and a big fight. And it's a simple formula, but it works every time. I mean, it worked on every cop buddy movie in the 80s. It worked in the 90s, so it still works now. I don't know how they do it. I was happy to see John Astin, Judge Reinhold. I love Judge Reinhold. Who doesn't love him, man? And the thing is, they did a bunch of media appearances. I mean, they did interviews. I watched all of them. They did interviews for everybody. They were promoting this movie like crazy. All right? They didn't have to, because, look, if you're an original fan of Beverly Hills Cop from 1984, you're going to love this. Now, if you've never seen a Beverly Hills Cops movie and you don't know what the hell's going on, if you don't know who Surge is, or if you don't know who Billy is, or John Taggart, if you don't know anything, you might say, it's just an average movie. But when you connect the trilogy to this movie, the jump, it's just the way it jumps to today, to 2024, is just made absolutely incredibly. It makes sense that Foley would still be in Detroit, and he will still be a cop, and he never wants to retire, and that he breaks all the rules. That's his character. So he plays it really well. They didn't change his. A lot of these sequels, 20, 30 years later, they're always trying to upgrade the character, right? Like saying, oh, well, you're different 30 years later, so we couldn't be, you couldn't do that. So in this movie, he's the same character. They don't change him around, and they also don't kill him at the end. Like Luke Skywalker or Han Solo, which I was really happy with. You got to see it. Yeah, I've seen it 2 times. Okay, I will admit I had a little bit more fun watching it with my Coors Lights, but you don't have to be drunk to enjoy the movie. Okay, some movies that are so bad I gotta drink a couple of beers. So Beverly Hills Cops, Axel Foley, 1 hour 58 minutes. Beverly Hills Cop is basically Beverly Hills Cop 4. Okay, it's number 4. I give it 10 out of 10. Hell yeah, 10 out of 10, baby. I'll probably see it again whenever I have time. I gotta go check it out. It's a definitive type of sequel that you want to have. Okay, you want to respect the original actors while introducing some new actors. Okay, you don't want to have like the new actors as the main leads. Everybody's gonna see this movie because of Eddie Murphy, and he's the one that makes the movie amazing and great. Of course, you got to have the supporting cast, but if you don't have Eddie Murphy in there, if you had a movie like these other sequels where they're just like maybe his daughter would have been the main character, and then he would just show up at the end, that would have sucked. So 10 out of 10. Beverly Hills Cop, Axel Foley on Netflix. Wow, I was impressed. Best movie of the year, bro. Take care, and may the force be with you. Bye.